Hey guys, so welcome back to the Great Answer 32. Let's carry on where we left off. We're here in Mr. Dreber's workshop, courtesy of Toby and his brilliant sniffing skills. Curiously enough, there's gotta be a conspiracy going on, considering we found Mr. Dreber actually on display over at Madame Tuspel's in the Professor's exhibit. Of course, he wasn't actually the Professor. The Professor's identity remains unknown, given that his head is still out there, missing in action, conveniently. So in the meantime, let's check out his digs and find out what we can find out here, and see how that'll help our case to defend Professor Hairbrain. Starting with, I guess let's start with this door back here. This door doesn't want to open. Yeah, looks like it's got a pretty hefty lock on it. There's a specialist locksmith on his way over from the yard, so hands off till he gets here. With permission, Inspector. I could have that lock open in less than a minute. Well, you don't have permission, and no one's giving it to you. Gregson looked as though he really enjoyed that. Shelms looks very disappointed. Well, there's no sound of anybody on the other side. No, Trevor must have fled at the first sign of danger. Okay, I thought that was the exit to this place, but no, it seems to lead further in. That's alright. Got a trophy over here. There's plenty to look at. Ah, this appears to be most interesting. Yes, most interesting indeed, wouldn't you say? It's an impressive looking back massager, that's for sure. I've no doubt that if you hit your shoulders a few times with that, your aches and pains would soon go away. It's a Royal Society trophy for excellence in science. A young scientist could wish for no higher honor. Well, this guy's apparently a fraud, so how he obtained this is beyond me. Ah. Would you like a massage? No, I'm fine, thank you. It's all good, especially not from you, Shelms. I had no idea it was such a grand thing. It's just kind of lying there toppled over, no? I think it's becoming increasingly clear that there's much more to this Mr. Enoch Dreber than conjuring tricks. I couldn't agree more, my dear madam. And how about you, Mr. Naruhodo? Wouldn't you like to take it with you? For your tired shoulders, of course. He's not going to let that go, is he? Susato, why are you giggling? Gosh. It's curious though, isn't it? You would expect such an important trophy to be proudly on display somewhere, not haphazardly cast aside. Maybe it's because he didn't earn it, so he's like, you know what, I don't care. I'm not going to hold it with any reverence. English gentlemen can be quite a mystery at times. Science trophy has been entered into the court record for future massage use. A Royal Society trophy for excellence in science that was found in Mr. Dreber's workshop. It's a very prestigious award for a young scientist. Well, you know what we gotta do? We gotta examine it. I see some arrows over there as well. They don't look like crossbow bolts, though. Royal Society Award. Fostering burgeoning talent for the future of scientific discovery is what it's labeled. There's a little metal plaque here, look. Okay, thanks for reading it out. Fostering burgeoning talent for the future of scientific discovery. It seems rather ironic, doesn't it? But clearly Mr. Dreber really was a very talented scientist. Okay. So, we're going with the fact that he rightfully earned this. I guess, nothing else to look at. Let's leave it be for now, then. I wonder how that's going to come into play later on. Okay, the arrows. This is... It's a European-style quiver of arrows, with steel bolts inside. Okay, never mind, it's bolts. Oh, do you suppose... Crossbow bolts, these. And just the right size for the bow you lot turned up at the exhibition grounds. In other words. Yep, that's more evidence to support your theory. It all goes to show that Dreber was the one pulling the strings behind the scenes of the whole scam. The details of the crossbow have been updated in the court record. A crossbow found hidden behind a tree under the experimentation stage at the exhibition grounds. It belongs to Mr. Enoch Dreber. There you go. Alright, are we saving the best for last? I think we are. It's down here. Sorry, Mr. Naruhodo. That machine is covered by the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act. Okay, never mind. That's part of the machine that I was saving for last. There'll be serious repercussions if you were to examine it. From the Crown and the government. Uh-huh. Well, those two don't seem fazed. Well, those two don't seem to be holding back. It's quite hollow inside. No working parts or devices of deception to be seen, my dear fellow. No loose change dropped on the floor or nothing. Not even a bone for Toby here, my dear fellow.
British people are very much ruled by their own ideals, aren't they?
I think that's just these two, Mr. Susato. The hell was that? Jeez, gave me a fright.
Oh.
Do we need to cut a hole in the door? Is something wrong, Mr. Susato?
Well, I thought I heard a noise. From the far side of that door. Well, Gina? Did you hear it too? Yeah, I heard it and all. What do you reckon, Toby?
Yeah, Toby heard it too. Right, mind the grace. Someone trapped in there? Who's in there? Open up! This is Scotland Yard! Oh, never mind, that was Gregson pounding on the door. Up and down some stairs? What the heck? Should've got Shums to open that door pronto.
Oh my, someone is in there!
Ah! This rotten, bleeding lock! My dear Gregson, as I said only minutes ago, if only it were countenanced, I could unlock that door in less than a minute. Well, fine. I'll take the rap for it. Just get us through that blasted door. Well, that was fast. There, you may enter it with. Alright, Sholmes, good on you. You've confused minutes with seconds, I think. Damn. When Sholmes is good, he's really good. Time is of the essence, I fear. What are we waiting for? Nothing for it, I suppose. This is an emergency. There's a strong possibility that beyond that door is the engineer you all seek. Be prepared for action, my dear fellow. Yes, of course. Ryunosuke takedown, incoming. Is he on the other side? Where did he retreat to? A bomb! Jesus Christ! Is he hiding in the safe? What? What's happened in here? Footsteps on the bloody ceiling? Why is everything upside down? Oh god. It is!
Rats! There ain't no one in there after all. But there must be. It was only moments ago that we heard those noises.
Maybe that was the sound of Drebber running away.
But there's only one door into this room.
And no windows that could afford an escape route. Those skylights are too high. Well, guys, I'm pretty sure I know where he went. Huh? What's that up there? Are they footprints? On the ceiling? Blow me. What were we then? Gregson, please, that's an HR lawsuit waiting to happen. Can't just say that. Looks like someone was trying to burn something in a hurry.
Oh, that looks like a set of blueprints.
To what? Is that Professor Hairbrain's bombing machine, is it? Blimey! If we'd had these, there'd have been no need to muck about trying to investigate all that scrap metal. There's something of great interest here, too. This rope was lying on the floor at the foot of that pillar. A rope? What's significant about that? He's trying to make it look like he escaped when he didn't. He's still in this room. Never mind. You see, but you do not observe, Mr. Naruhodo. Are we going to do a data deduction in here, maybe?
We must investigate the entire room thoroughly, and before the forensic investigation team arrive too.
Okay, man, I'm loving this exciting music playing as we're pursuing Mr. Drebber. Let's take a look at the footprints on the ceiling. There's no denying it, is there? They're footprints. It's all part of his illusion.
Yes, it would appear so. And I simply can't imagine how they came to be there.
Isn't there a Susato shoot-up or something? Like a Susato takedown, I mean.
I'm no Wonder Woman, Mr. Naruhodo.
That would make her almost superhuman, I suppose. Though her strength does seem supernatural at times. Hot air balloon? That's a really lovely model. Looks just like a real flying balloon. I wonder what the significance of it is.
I think it's probably staying aloft on the same principle as a full-size balloon using gas.
A green flying balloon. Ah, does have that hallmarks of that amazing deception at the Great Exhibition, doesn't it? Could it be? Could it actually be? The whole thing was planned here in this very workshop? You don't say. Good God. Let's save the best for last again. That would be the stick of dynamite in the middle. It's over here.
Almost every piece of furniture is upside down.
Even Mr. Shums is sweet as ever in this much of a mess.
You're in no position to comment on mess, Mr. Naruhodo.
I suppose it's not quite the same thing, is it? I mean, it's not messy in here per se, it's that everything is literally upside down.
But why?
That is a good question. Why is everything upside down? Except for, you know, the hot air balloon and the safe. That's still upright. Everything else, though. What the hell happened in here? It's a very large safe. I don't suppose even Mr. Sholmes could open that lock. Although, if you were a thief, you could just steal the entire thing, I suppose.
It's bolted to the floor to prevent exactly that sort of underhand trick, Mr. Naruhodo.
Really? I suppose it is. That's why it's not upside down. Well then, you could just steal the floor as well, I suppose.
I'm sorry, but you really aren't making any sense at all. Anyway, I think we can agree that whatever's inside must be very important.
It's very important for my case, that's for sure. Okay, let's take a look at this. Mr. Sholmes, have you found something? Ah, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, in point of fact, something rather fascinating. What do you make of this? Let's see. Never seen anything like it before. Looks like a bundle of thick cigars wrapped in a large watch to me, but... Ah! Mr. Susato? What's the matter?
Surely that's a time bomb, isn't it?
What? Did you say...
Time bomb?
Does no one know what a time bomb looks like except for Susato? I suppose she's the one with the blue book that has everything in it. Sorry, but what is a time bomb exactly? You truly are one of a kind, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, you're such a jokester. I won't take that as a compliment.
You don't know nothing, do you, Odo?
At least I know my alphabet. You haven't got a clue what it is either, have you, Gina? I invite you to consult a dictionary later, Mr. Naruhodo. But this particular specimen is no time bomb. Though I confess it has a very similar appearance.
Oh. Oh, well, thank goodness. But then, what is it?
Good question. I see. So that's it. Huh?
Goodness. Mr. Sholmes, have you seen to the heart of the matter?
It's an alarm clock. There are times when I consider my lot most unfair. For I am fated never to know how it feels to flounder as you do when a puzzle presents itself. I wish I was stupid sometimes, just so I could be on your level. But I have learned to accept the hardships that come with being a great detective, Mr. Susato. Very hard being intelligent. Here we go. Feel a great deduction coming. Here we go. Once again, I can draw two conclusions from the scene we see before us. The first is that the inverted nature of the furniture in this room is the work of Drebber himself.
Oh, but how could you...
Who's going to react with the exclamation marks and the question marks this time around? Is it going to be Drebber from the safe? And the second conclusion is that the small device on the floor there is, without question, completely genuine.
Please, Mr. Sholmes, you must explain everything.
It would be a pleasure. After all, it is a great detective's civic duty to teach Scotland Yard the finer points of the trade. Oh my god. That face is perfect. Yeah, that's my face. That's my face. Well, Inspector Gregson seems delighted with the idea anyway.
Oh, you deflected the inspector's glare with such fortitude there, Mr. Sholmes. Well done.
I don't know if it's a glare. In fact, I think Gregson's eyes have inverted. He's looking inward now. How did it come to this is what he's thinking. You're too kind, my dear madam. I hereby dedicate this great deduction to you. Kindly stand just there, Miss Susato.
Oh, yes. I'd be delighted.
So, shall we begin? Once again, Sherlock Sholmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular. There it goes. Please, enlighten us all. I guess Susato's got to be reacting. Flipped furniture. It's plain to see that this room is in complete disarray. The bed, the table and chairs, the lamp, everything is upside down. Almost as if every item in the room had, until recently, been happily positioned on the ceiling, before falling straight down onto the floor. Okay, yep.
Every item in the room was on the ceiling. Are you suggesting that...
Indeed. The key here... Oh, the safe combination is gravity. It would appear that technology has at last succeeded in freeing us from the great pull of the Earth. The way he just freaking walks while everything's sucking up to the ceiling. What a display. For the gravity in this room was reversed, and then suddenly restored to normality. Normality, I should say.
Goodness.
The inverted furniture clearly reveals the truth about the part gravity played in this whole business. I did see something poking from behind that bed there. I quite understand your skepticism, Miss Susato. I too was incredulous at first. However, my conviction in my analysis was cemented when I observed this. An anti-gravity device, almost identical to the one featured in a dream of mine only the other day, in fact. That's an anti-gravity device, huh?
But then why does it have a clock on it?
A most relevant question indeed. That is a timing device that controls when the gravity direction will switch. Localized entirely in this room, just like Aurora Borealis in Seymour's kitchen. There was clearly a requirement for the engineer to be able to restore normal gravity automatically. And the commotion we heard earlier from the other side of the door was the moment that restoration occurred. Yes, the reason why everything in here has been turned upside down is because of the anti-gravity device. So you see, we need to look no further to explain the state in which we now find this room. The direction in which gravity acts in here was reversed by Mr. Drebber, before being restored to normality in an automatic fashion sometime later by the timer device. I've witnessed precisely the scene in a dream I once had when I fell out of bed. Well, thank you for that additional information. Because gravity was reversed. Thank you, Sholmes. Topic 2. Missing engineer. Now, let us consider the next conundrum. What was our engineer friend's aim? Indubitably, the greatest clue we have to explain his actions is above our heads. Okay?
Yes, how is it possible that there are footprints all the way up there on the ceiling?
Question whose answer will lead us neatly to the truth, my dear madam. The reason there are footprints on the ceiling is because of the nearby skylight. Okay? Of course, Trevor's aim was singular, to escape. However, there is but one way into this room. Excepting the skylight, that is.
Ah.
Oh, whoa! Oh god! By inverting the gravity in here, Trevor was able to fall conveniently to the ceiling and make his escape via the otherwise inaccessible skylight, leaving those footprints behind on the way. What an imagination you got, Sholmes. I like it. Damn it, there's no way out of this room. I can't reach the skylight. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to fucking reverse gravity so I can float up to the ceiling, get out through the skylight, and then I have to make sure gravity is restored, so I'm going to leave this device in here and set it to 1 minute from now.
But the ceiling in here is very high, Mr. Sholmes. If the gravity reversal was sudden, wouldn't Mr. Drebber have fallen up to the ceiling rather violently?
That's what the rope was for, apparently. Falling up is both scientifically and philosophically a rather interesting concept, I feel. But the man who was cornered with nowhere to run, so escaping through the skylight was his only option. You may recall that I found this in the room earlier, which I believe offers a solution.
Oh, the rope.
To reach the intended destination, what better tool than this rope? By anchoring one end to the wall, the man was able to lower himself safely to the ceiling. Which explains how Drebber was able to escape this room before our arrival. Drebber must be listening to this in the safe going, what the fuck is going on out there? Jesus Christ. I'm gonna giggle, and it's gonna give away my position. I better cover my mouth. He reversed the pull of gravity and fled via the skylight. And personally, I should very much like to reverse the pull of gravity again now. Just for fun. Alright. Escaped via the skylights. Thank you. Thus concludes Sherlock Sholmes' great deduction of this topsy-turvy puzzle. That cheeky smile. I love Gregson's emotions. The way he emotes. Well, was anyone impressed? Susato, I suppose. I can't tell if she's impressed or she's fallen asleep. She's completely spellbound. Mr. Sholmes, there's just one thing that troubles me. I would expect nothing less. You're destined to be troubled by just one thing for the rest of your life. The thing is such a thing actually possible? An anti-gravity device, I mean. We already dispelled the notion of instantaneous kinesis. I would say that with a man's current scientific knowledge at the turn of the 20th century, it's no more possible than instantaneous kinesis. So you just disproved your own freaking dance of deduction just now. But your whole deduction hinges on it. Ah, but my dear fellow, when you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. However improbable it may seem. No, that's not true. It's a marvelous line, wouldn't you agree? One of my more enduring pearls of wisdom. I had Iris come up with the exact phrasing. My original was clumsy. Yes, I have a feeling I've read it in something that Mr. Susato lent me once.
Objection.
Actually, there is one other thing, Mr. Shames.
Ah, the spell's broken at last. We got to hear her objection, which I quite like.
The rope you found on the floor, wasn't it?
Indeed it was. In lonely coils near the wall.
But if Mr. Drebber had used it to escape in the way you described, wouldn't it still be tied to the wall?
Hold that thought, Miss Susato. Mysteries inevitably unravel in the end, as I think you'll find two ropes. And as evidence of such, you need only look at the mystery we face in this room, now skillfully unraveled. An argument is as circular as the coils of rope.
I think perhaps we might need to give Mr. Sholmes the usual little helping hand. I'm sure with some minor corrections, the great detective's great deduction will lead us to the truth.
Yeah, you're right. We must do it quickly, before Enoch Drebber gets too far away. If you're ready, then let us resume. Sherlock Sholmes' Logic and Reasoning Spectacular. Okay, here we go. Drebber, are you listening? We're about to do a course correction, please. Alright, let's start with the fact that gravity was reversed. That caused the flipped furniture. It's so adorable with a little double fist pump there. It's plain to see that this room is in complete disarray. The bed, the table and chairs, the lamp, everything is upside down. Almost as if every item in the room had, until recently, been happily positioned on the ceiling, before falling straight down onto the floor.
Okay, every item in the room was on the ceiling. Are you suggesting that...
Indeed. The key here is gravity. It would appear that technology has at last succeeded in freeing us from the great pull of the Earth. For the gravity in this room was reversed, and then suddenly restored to normality.
Goodness.
The inverted furniture clearly reveals the truth about the part gravity played in this whole business.
To think gravity could have been reversed in this very room, I find the whole idea utterly enthralling. Only Mr. Sholmes could conceive of such an explanation.
But the man himself admitted it was a scientific impossibility, so...
Yes, you're quite right. We must completely discount the idea at once.
Ooh, that's unusually merciless of you, Mr. Susato.
When you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. The great detective himself said so, didn't he?
While refusing to part with his dreams of anti-gravity devices.
Yes, I suppose so.
Well, let's see if examining this topsy-turvy scene a little more closely reveals some proof that shows exactly what the gravity in this room was or wasn't doing. Okay, inverted furniture. That's what I saw poking from behind the bed. This unusual upright vase here. It's not upside down. Well, well, I was expecting to find a pretty bunch of flowers in here, that's for sure.
Look at that!
I know. That slender little vase looks like it's about to topple at any moment, but the flowers are thriving. Somehow it makes you think of the fragility of life, wouldn't you say?
To be honest, Mr. Naruhodo, something else about it made a rather deeper impression on me.
The fact that it's upright. We can look at the large safe. What here breaks the laws of Sholmesian gravity theory? God, Sholmesian's a word now. I mean, we already know what the answer is, but I just want to examine everything else first.
Well, the furniture in here is very conspicuously upside down, certainly.
Yes, it does immediately put you in mind of some strange quirk of gravity, I admit.
Could it be that a mini whirlwind passed through here, you think?
I'm not sure that's much more plausible than Mr. Sholmes' explanation.
Oh dear. Saying the first thing that comes into your head isn't the way forward here, it seems.
No, it isn't. Okay, everything basically says inverted furniture. Last but not least, the large safe. Look at Mr. Susato. When everything seems to be upside down in here, this safe is conspicuously the right way up. Have you noticed?
Yes, that's true. But look more closely at the safe's feet.
Ah, that's a lot of very large bolts fixing it to the floor. Think before you speak. That's what you wanted to say, isn't it? I really put my foot in my mouth there.
I certainly didn't say that.
You did say saying the first thing that comes to your head wasn't the brightest, so you did actually say that. Okay, let's present it. Upright vase.
Take that!
The upright vase clearly reveals the truth. The upright vase clearly reveals the truth about the part gravity played in this whole business. Upon my word, Mr. Naruhodo, you've surpassed yourself by completely turning my argument on its head. Upside down, even. Trying to impress your assistant here, perhaps. Maybe. No one is trying to steal your spotlight here, Mr. Sholmes. Trust me, even though the spotlight is on Susato right now. As you rightly say, though it appears at first glance that all the furniture in the room is upside down, this unassuming slender vase is standing keenly to attention. And unlike the large safe, there is nothing affixing it to the floor. And it's the exception that breaks the rule. In short, much as it pains me, the gravity in this room was never inverted at all. My deepest sympathies for your loss.
Oh, poor Mr. Sholmes.
But the show must go on, so let us continue with our deductions. Well, you've recovered. Now that we know this contrivance is not in fact an anti-gravity device, there remains but one other possibility. You don't say. Someone deliberately turned over every piece of furniture in here. Which might sound obvious, but leaves one mystery very much unsolved. Namely, why would anyone choose to do that? Quite. And naturally, there is an explanation. I think the explanation is that the safe code was underneath one of the furniture, and the culprit didn't know which piece of furniture it was. So they upturned everything, and the one with the safe code just happened to be the last one they upturned. Yes, the reason why everything in here has been turned upside down is because of the anti-gravity device. He's absolutely determined that this device must have something to do with it, isn't he?
I'm afraid the lure of an exciting scientific explanation is too strong.
Well, there's no doubt that somebody did this. Somebody turned all this furniture over. So whoever it was must have had a reason.
I'm afraid nothing comes to mind at all, though.
Well, let's look around and see if the answer presents itself. Alright, let's go straight to it then. The safe combination. Always examine before presenting, just in case it gets updated. Look, there's something written on the underside of this armchair.
Oh yes! Safe 432582.
Safe? As in, safe and secure?
As in secure lockable box, I think.
Admittedly more likely.
Well, there is a large safe bolted to the floor on the other side of the room, so yes.
So you mean this number would let us open it?
I wonder why it's written here, though.
Well, I don't know if there's anything else we can examine apart from the anti-gravity device. Coal burning heater is one thing as well. Okay, well, let's look at the coal burning heater. That's a coal burning heater, I think, isn't it?
Yes, it is, but it's not just for heating, you know. You can grill on it, bake on it, boil and steam things with it. It serves all sorts of purposes.
That seems like having your cake and eating it too. Not like a heated kotatsu table with a Nabe hot pot, a Mikan orange, a cat, and an elderly relative.
Oh, you mean it seems too much? I suppose perhaps it does. But you realize only some of those things on your list are edible, don't you?
And the anti-gravity device? We've already established that gravity wasn't actually reversed in here, haven't we? In other words, this isn't an anti-gravity device at all.
Which makes me very curious to know what sort of device it is. But I think for now it's clear that we're looking for an answer elsewhere.
Alright, even if this is potentially life-threatening, let's go over to the safe combination.
Take that!
Done. Yes, the reason why everything in here has been turned upside down is because of the safe combination. Precisely. I believe, Mr. Naruhodo, that you had a very similar experience once, did you not? Yes, last year, when I bought a lottery ticket and noted the ticket number down on the inside cover of a book just in case. That's it. For people are forgetful souls at heart, and always make a written note of important information.
Just keeping the ticket itself safe would be more sensible, I think.
And what, pray, happened next, Mr. Naruhodo? When the day of the draw came around, I'd forgotten which book I'd written the number and had to turn my room upside down to find it. Literally. That's it. For people are forgetful souls at heart, and always forget where they've noted things down.
Not if you always note things in the same place.
Well, you know, that's what happens. What if that one place is compromised? When you put everything in your phone. I actually won the second prize, you know. But I couldn't remember which magazine I'd slipped the ticket into, so I had to turn my room upside... Thank you, Mr. Naruhodo, but I believe I proved my point now. How dare you steal the spotlight from me? Which is that a very similar scenario has clearly unfolded in this room. Finding himself requiring access to the safe, the occupant of this room needed the combination code. He remembered that he'd written it on the underside of a piece of furniture, but forgot which one. Leading to the state in which we now find the room. Yes, Mr. Trevor overturned all the furniture in here in a desperate hurry to locate the combination code that will unlock the safe. Alright. To find the safe combination. Solved. Next. Missing engineer. We know what it's going to say at the end. Now, let us consider the next conundrum. What was our engineer friend's aim? Indubitably, the greatest clue we have to explain his actions is above our heads.
Yes, how is it possible that there are footprints all the way up there on the ceiling?
A question whose answer will lead us neatly to the truth, my dear madam. We already established gravity wasn't, middled with in here. The reason there are footprints on the ceiling is because of the nearby skylight.
Well, if a change in the direction of gravity can't explain it, then how did those footprints get there?
Yes. I feel as though that particular mystery has just become even harder to solve.
I can't think of any other way to explain it at all. Ooh, life was so much simpler in those halcyon days when gravity could be reversed.
It was minutes ago. And those halcyon days never existed in the first place.
Well, I suppose we must simply put our faith in Mr. Sholmes and observe the area in more detail.
Putting our faith in Mr. Sholmes is what gets us into these situations in the first place. Okay, why are there footprints on the ceiling? Let's check out the balloon. Obviously we need to look around. This is a gas balloon, isn't it? It's tiny, but it does seem to be a real balloon.
Yes, I think you're right. I think it's helium that's keeping it up.
Green gas balloon. Why does that seem to ring a bell with me?
If you can see, there are footprints on this balloon too. Look.
Oh, yes. Surely that's a clue, isn't it? Though what it tells us, I'm not sure. Footprints on the balloon, huh? There are. Interesting. Oh. There's a shoe on top. What the heck's going on here? It's hard to believe, but there's a shoe up there, look!
Oh, yes, and there are more footprints on this little balloon too. Perhaps the shoe was thrown up there and became lodged, do you think?
So, then judging from the number of footprints, it must have been thrown up several times. Why would anyone be throwing shoes up at the ceiling, though?
Oh dear. That's beyond me, I'm afraid.
Huh. I don't quite follow this just yet, but there's nothing else really to look at. Well, let's look at the skylight before we press on. It looks like these are the only windows in the room. In other words, if you wanted to escape without using the door, these skylights would be the only way.
Yes, that's true. But even so...
And right next to the only escape route, we notice some telltale footprints.
Nevertheless, as we've said many times now, gravity can't explain how they got there.
The powerful springs in the soles of the man's shoes could.
Have you been having strange dreams as well, like Mr. Sholmes?
No, I am not, I admit. Alright, well let's present the shoe then.
Take that!
The reason there are footprints on the ceiling is because of the nearby shoe. And on closer inspection, there are clearly footprints all over the balloon as well. In other words, the aim was never the skylight at all, but the balloon.
But for what purpose?
A green balloon. That seems somewhat familiar data.
It was a piece of a green balloon's envelope that Mr. Naruhodo and Iris found at the scene.
And inside the green balloon that Mr. Gotts claims he saw above the stage when the incident occurred was the second birdcage. The crux of the whole instantaneous deception. You mean to say, is there something in that balloon and he was trying to pop it with his shoe? If we assume the balloon in here is a model of the one used on the day, there's a strong possibility something may be concealed inside it. Something our absconder was desperate to retrieve before making a hasty getaway. But the balloon's out of reach. Hence why he resorted to a projectile, namely the shoe. Most probably Mr. Drebber intended to tear a hole in the envelope by assailing it with a shoe. However, his efforts were thwarted when the shoe itself became a prisoner of those lofty heights. Well, it's just the one shoe, surely he had another one.
Oh dear, we desperately need to examine that balloon. If only there was some way we could see inside.
You may recall that I found this in the room earlier, which I believe offers a solution.
Oh, the rope.
To reach the intended destination, what better tool than this rope?
Mr. Sholmes has managed to bring the deduction back to the rope.
Alright, I have to admit, that was clever. So we just throw the rope up to the balloon and then pull it down to us on the ground? Which is much easier said than done, I feel.
And could take us a very long time as well.
True. Perhaps we need a more surefire method. In fact, we already have one, of course, don't we? Oh, yes, we do. The crossbow.
Take that!
Not even gonna dilly-dally there. To reach the intended destination, what better tool than this crossbow?
That was found at the scene, in fact.
And in all likelihood belongs to Mr. Drebber. If the man had only brought it away with him that day, he could have avoided losing a shoe at such a critical time as this. Oh yes, how tragic. So, shall we? Your curiosity is deeply stirred, no doubt, my dear fellows. What is it that Enoch Drebber has hidden inside that balloon? He's hiding in the balloon. Poof. Ah! What the... Is that the professor's head? A waxwork? Indeed it is. A waxwork head inside a metal mask. A mask that is shut tight and fastened with a strong and quite impenetrable lock. So we can't see the face inside, that means. God, how convenient! Why the hell did they lock away a waxwork figure's head? Like, how desperate were they to not see their artwork? Why even model the head in the first place if you're just gonna lock it away behind a mask?
Just a moment. This is the head of a waxwork model. Does that mean... Oh goodness!
I see you've joined the dots, Miss Susato. Excellent. Ah, of course. A headless waxwork model. The case of the abducted Madame Tuspel's model that you'd largely solved. It was only the head of the killer that was still missing. Indeed it was. But I believe Madame Tuspel's will now have to settle her sizable account with me. This, as you have now surmised, is the head of the infamous professor. What the hell was it doing inside the balloon? Yes.
But why is it here?
This conclusively confirms my suspicions. The man responsible for stealing the professor from Madame Tuspel's and returning it sans tête earlier today was none other than Enoch Drebber. This is incredible. Professor Hairbrain's case and the waxwork abduction they're inextricably linked by Enoch Drebber's workshop. The waxwork head has been entered in the court record, the head of the Professor Waxwork that was stolen from the Madame Tuspel's special exhibit that we can't look at. Well, it appears our logical pleasure cruise has come to an end, my dear fellows. All that remains is, yes, to speak with the architect of this adventure. Oh, we've got a new theme going on here.
The architect?
You mean Mr. Drebber? As it seems quite impossible that he escaped via one of the skylights, obviously, the man must still be here in the room.
What?
And his location should be abundantly clear. If you simply reflect on the journey we've made together during this deduction. Enoch Drebber is right here, somewhere in this room. You don't say. So, Mr. Naruhodo, will you do the honors? Yes, of course. Mr. Drebber's hiding place must be the... Where can I look? The wardrobe. If you need to hide, there's no better place than a wardrobe. I stand firmly by that. I can't believe this guy turned the wardrobe upside down.
Ah, yes. You had some experience of that yourself a year ago, didn't you?
We'll find him in there, mark my words. He'll be curled up in a bowl, trembling and hungry. In fact, my own hand is trembling just thinking about making the discovery.
Never mind, Mr. Naruhodo. He could be hiding somewhere else, you know.
Okay, I suppose. Where else could he be? In the cupboard.
This looks to be a cupboard for cups and saucers and the like.
Ah, an ingenious hiding place.
Oh, is it?
Well, when you say cupboard, you automatically think of cups and saucers, don't you? And the clever engineer knows that, so he knows you'd never look for him in there because he's not crockery.
Though sadly, it does seem to be full of only crockery.
Oh, unfortunate. Skylight. Personally, I still think he might have escaped via one of those skylights.
But you heard what Mr. Sholmes said. The man must still be here in the room. I'm afraid your opinion might put you at loggerheads with the great detective.
Mr. Sato, I'm always at loggerheads with the great detective. Sometimes a man must stand up for what he believes in and fight.
Oh, well in that case I'll leave you to it.
Oh, thanks, Susato, but that would be wrong. I can't look back there. He's not in the bomb, is he? No. Large safe. It's the only place left. Okay, let's present it. Not even going to examine it. Probably should have. Before we gained access to this back room, we heard noises from in here, which tells us that the engineer was still in the building at that point in time. He was in fact searching for the combination to his safe, and pressed for time, made no attempt to right the furniture that he overturned in the process, from which we can deduce that his search for the combination happened very recently indeed. In summary, Mr. Enoch Dribber is at this very moment inside the safe. Ah! Thus concludes Sherlock Holmes' great deduction of this topsy-turvy puzzle. One day he'll credit me as well. Inside the safe. Solved. Alright. It's elementary. Love it. So, Mr. Naruhodo, I think perhaps it's time we ended this game of hide-and-seek, don't you? By opening the safe, you mean? What else? How's he gonna get out? If we didn't know he was in there, how was he supposed to escape? Is there a failsafe in there? Is there a failsafe in the safe? Let's see. The combination was
432582.
I knew that. Alright, here goes. Gee, I could have turned around, you know. It's written plain to see. Alright. Who knows what he'd be like. Hey there. You found me. Yes, we did. Oh my god, is he just a full-on robot? Whoa! Okay, alright. Damn. There we go. Hi there. That was the thing. Right then, sir, that was a pretty damn good show. Smashing. Mr. Enoch Dribber, I presume? Correct. Better start talking. You tricked Professor Hairbrain with that bogus machine you built.
And you shall have to explain the theft of the waxwork from Madame Tuspells as well.
Whilst I would be delighted to answer your many questions, personally, I would advise that you deactivate my little parcel first. Deactivate?
Your parcel?
I refer, of course, to the time bomb. I left it in a most prominent position. Ah, I thought that was just to scare us away so you could make your escape. Ha ha ha. I see. Stunned silence. You're all gearing up to die with me, then?
No!
Oh, it's fake. It's a bluff! Whoa, Susato looks angry.
Mr. Sholmes, with only 7 seconds to spare!
That was too close for comfort. I've got 1 foot in the grave already. Okay, I guess it was real. Are you trying to help us get a killer or get us killed?
Mr. Sholmes' deductions can be completely life-altering, can't they?
Well, my dear fellows, that was a close shave. There's plenty of music. It's so trolly, I swear to God. This resemblance to an anti-gravity device is really quite startling, I must say.
Anti-gravity devices don't exist!
Whew, I wouldn't push it, Mr. Sholmes. She's pouting. You're about to get the Susato takedown. Alright, well... You know what? No. I'm gonna present my armband to you, you prick. It might surprise you to learn that I'm actually a lawyer from the Empire of Japan. I detest lawyers. They wield so-called powers, special powers, in an attempt to grind down our freedoms. Yes, let me be quite clear. I detest lawyers very much. Any chance two negatives make a positive? Right, well, let's converse, shall we? What happened here? What on earth happened in here? You've found me, haven't you? No need to screw me down any further. Everything in here is precisely what it seems. Yeah, well, we'll be giving that a thorough going over it. Don't you worry, Dribber. What fails to click with me is how you were able to locate my workshop. That I was not expecting. When I heard whistling from the other room, I knew it was time to bolt. Whistling? Ah, that would have been me. Oh, God, of course. For some reason, I woke in a fine fettle today. Oh, God. Every time Gregson is reactive to Sholmes. No words, just tightly squeezed chips. Clearly I must have a screw loose, though, as I couldn't remember the combination for the safe. And another one loose, as I couldn't remember on which piece of furniture I'd written it down. I also found a rope over by the wall. Yes, I had hoped to exit through the skylight, but sadly the rope was too short. So I then set about searching for the combination code to open the safe. And burning the incriminating blueprints, don't forget. Regrettably, though, you failed to retrieve the head from the balloon among the rafters. Well, he's maintaining his sinister pose, and after that you hid yourself inside the safe, having first sent this parcel ticket. Well, I had no intention of being nailed by the police. I see. Well, the time bomb. Got a death wish, have you? Hiding right beside a ticking time bomb? Please, why do you suppose I chose to hide inside the safe? It's no ordinary safe, it's specially designed. A dynamite explosion wouldn't leave a scratch on it. So, in fact, the safe was the only safe place. Precisely. But once you'd climbed inside, you wouldn't have been able to get out again. I invite you to look more closely. The safe is fitted with a handle on the inside to allow the door to be unlocked from within. I knew it. I was gonna say. Ah, so it is. I had always intended to blow this place to smithers in any case. I just wasn't expecting uninvited guests to come along and screw up my plans. Do you mean to say you're planning to blow us all up? No, that was unforeseen. What do you mean? Most people run, you see, when they see a ticking time bomb at their feet. Oh, well, sorry, we got it confused with an anti-gravity device. I calculated the time required for retreat to a safe distance and set the device accordingly. Luckily, we didn't waste any more time with that dance of deduction, but your seemingly endless discourse in here threw a spanner in the works. Is something wrong, Griggs? Do I have something on my face, besides the usual eyes, ears, nose, and mouth? I swear to God, those two dynamic. Their dynamic is just perfect. I think we have a fairly good idea of what's been going on here now. What about the two incidents you've evidently been involved in recently? Professor Hairbrain's instantaneous kinesis experiment at the Great Exhibition, and the waxwork model you stole, which this head belongs to. That's no ordinary head, you know. That's the head of the Professor. Clad in a mask with a lock so strong I'm unable to open it safely to reveal the killer's identity. I've been considering carrying it around as protection. After all, that's enough! Whoa.
What's going on here, Gregson? I'm sure you're aware that I have sole jurisdiction to investigate here.
Yes, well, you're lucky there's a crime scene to investigate, okay? There was 7 seconds left before there was nothing here at all. Dr. Scythe again. So the forensic investigation team are here.
And you know full well this engineer is a key witness. Why are you allowing this lawyer access to him? If Lord Strongheart knew of this, you'd be finished.
Oh boy.
You lot, leave at once.
My dear madam, there's no need for such a threatening tone, I assure you. After all, that's no way to greet an old acquaintance, is it, Dr. Scythe?
Hello, Sholmes.
Mr. Sholmes knows Dr. Scythe? If it's protecting the machine next door that's causing such a sour expression on your face, you are quite misguided. It's really nothing more than a shell. You get out. But of course, we'll show ourselves at the door. I see you haven't softened at all. Mr. Naruhodo.
Yes?
It would appear that our delightfully entertaining investigations have run their course for today. But Mr. Sholmes, let us leave this place in the doctor's capable hands. I said get out! Now, all of you. Your presence here is not required either, Gregson. Oof. Understood. But I'll just say one thing before I head off. If it wasn't for this lawyer and his companions, we'd never have found this place, and the whole workshop would have been blown to bits. There was a time bomb sitting here that this lot disarmed.
Inspector.
Ah, that's nice of Gregson. She doesn't care. So I'm giving you a chuckle, has it, Driver?
Ah, so sorry. Didn't mean to offend. You're quite right, of course. You did disarm the time bomb, didn't you?
Yes. You did disarm that one. Uh-oh.
Hey? What are you... That one? You mean...
Oh shit. Where's the other one? Oh no. There's a crowd. It's at the Great Exhibition. Son of a bitch. Drebber's one dangerous motherfucker. Those 2 cops. Oh my. It was an hour later that we heard the news of the enormous explosion that ripped through the experimentation stage at the Great Exhibition. Professor Hairbrain's invention and all its secrets were blown away forever. Whoa. Oh wow. Damn, the stakes are really up now.